Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Glad to finally sit down and make another video again. It's been too long. Today we are going to tackle the box sequence on TryHackMe. This is a premium room, so you will need a subscription for it. But this is just one of the reasons I think that premium is worth it, because you get access to more rooms that can really help expand your skills and your knowledge. So with that, let's get started on this. Alright, while I've got the machine starting up here, just want to point out that down here in the notes, make sure to always read your notes on your rooms before you get started. It does give us some information, and it does give us the name of the website or here, review.thm. Make a note of that, because that's what we're going to be putting in our host file once we have the IP address. Okay, so we got our IP now. We can just click here to copy it, come into our terminal. You want to type in sudo, your editor of choice. I like to use nano, and then /etc/host, give your password, and then I have a section down here I like to use for the TryHackMe boxes. I'll just put that there and put the name of the website in there. And now just to make sure everything's working, let's ping it. We'll just use the ping command for this. Alright, looks like it's going. Alrighty, real quick, we're going to run an mmap scan, see what it can find and what information it can give us. Alrighty, looks like here we've got a SSH port open, 8.2.P1, and we've got an HTTP port running Apache, so we're probably going to be dealing with PHP files, and it looks like the HTTP only flag is not set, so we might be able to cross-site request forgeries with those. Okay, over here in our browser, we've got the website pulled up. Pretty basic, not much to it. If we click on home, we see it just takes us straight to the login page, and we click on the contact us, we just get this. We come back to the login page real quick, we go to page source. You can look through here, but there's nothing really useful in any of the page sources so far right here. Alrighty, so let's do a directory scan real quick just to see if there's anything that we might be able to find. Here I'm going to be using the big.txt file underneath seclist. I'm going to put the fuzz after our website, and I'm going to go ahead and tell it to also add the .php extension, see if it can find any hidden pages. Directory scan has completed. There are several PHP files here that it did notice. Most of these we won't be able to access until we're able to log in, but there is one right here called mail we can go ahead and check out. So we'll come back to our browser, remove that, and just put the word mail in. Alright, as you can see, we get a dump.txt. If we look at it, it's going to give us some information here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit there. And we actually get a password out of this. Make sure you copy and save that somewhere. We will need it later. Now also note that it makes reference to a finance.php and a lottery.php that are hosted internally that we're not going to be able to access right now. Later on in the box, we're going to see if we can find a way to get access to those. Since the directory scanning didn't turn up anything useful that we can use to get further into the box, what's next? Well, if we look at this contact us page, let's go ahead and put some information in and see if we get any messages. Okay, if we see thank you for your feedback, someone from our team will review it shortly. So that's an indication that someone's going to look at it and access it. So there's a chance that this may be vulnerable to a cross-site scripting. For that, let's go ahead and set up a listener, and then we'll send the payload. For our listener, I'm just going to simply use netcat with the LNVP options and port quad 8. Okay, and here we go. I've got the payload filled out. We're going to be using the script tags, and we're going to use the fetch command. And I'm going to give it my IP address and then point it to that quad port 8. I'm going to ask it to send the cookie as well. So whoever's accessing it, we should be able to get their cookie, and we might be able to use that to log in. So we'll hit send, and now we just go back to our terminal, and there we go. We've got an SSID. So we'll just copy this, come back over here, right click, inspect. Now I'm using Firefox. So I want to go to storage, and right here, it's a little small. Sorry if you can't see it too well, but it's the second option, the PHP SE SSID. I'm going to double click in that value field and just do Control V to paste the new value in there, hit enter, and then we come back up here and refresh the page, resend. We can close this, and now we have our first flag, and we are logged in as mod. So now we're going to go to home, take a look at what we got. Okay, there's us and admin. Our role is mod. We've got a few other things here. Chat, we see the admins online. View feedback, we can see the messages that we posted, and there's an extra one in there. Interesting. Settings, okay, change password. Let's go ahead and do this so we can sign back in later if we need to. I'm just going to use test 1, 2, 3, 4 and promote co-admin. Let's see if we can do that as well. Nope, only available to admins. Interesting. So let's take a look at what's going on here. For that, I like to use Kaido. You can use Burp Suite to do this as well, but I've gotten to where I like Kaido a little bit more. So I'm in my boxes project. I've got my sitemap cleared out. And for right now, I'm just going to leave it in forwarding mode. And let's try this again. I really need to go into my settings and get rid of this crap. Oh yeah. I guess it helps if we come over to Foxy Proxy and switch it over to Kaido. Now let's try that. We come back here. We can see we did get that packet that was sent. Okay, there we go. I was able to make it a little bit bigger. So as you can see here, it goes to promote coadmin.php, passes the username that we give it, and it's giving the CSRF token. So anytime I see a hash or a token or anything like that, there's a couple of websites that I like to run it through, but the one we're going to run this through is CrackStation. Crackstation.net. Just drop that in there, say we're not a robot, and it tells us it's an MD5 and the words mod. So let's flip over to CyberChef. Let's grab the MD5, and we want the MD5 for admin. Copy that. Alrighty. And if you use it and you see all this stuff popping up, that's fine. You can just type in the name of the website you're working with and it'll filter it out. So you can see just it. So what we want to do is right click this over here, send to replay, default collection, and we see we've got it here. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. So we want to replace that token with the one we got from CyberChef and hit send. Okay, the feature is currently only available for admins. So let's try to capture it in the act that it's happening. So we'll go to intercept, switch to queuing, come back here, type in mod, promote to admin, we catch it, right here's where we catched it, and let's go ahead and put in that hash, forward it, take us out of queuing, and we're still getting that. Interesting. So we're not able to do it even with that token. But if you remember, admin's in over here. So it's a simple little test. Let's see what happens if we give the admin a link. So let's say we set up a listener on port 9000, come back over here, port 9000, hit send. Okay, it does send it as a link. If we come back over here, let's give it a minute and see if anything comes up. Okay, there you go. Sure enough, it does. So someone does click on the link and we are able to get information. So what we want to do is let's go back over here into Kaido, go back over to replay. Let's grab this part, copy it, and this time paste it in here like this. So that way we can send them a link. Basically, this would be like in the real world if you're trying to phish an admin to click on a link to get something done. Yeah, make sure we only got one there. That's basically what this is simulating. So let's send it and let's see if we get switched over. I'm just going to go ahead and open this home in a new tab. Okay, and there we go. We've got the role admin. Now remember, roles and websites only get really loaded in once you log in. So for that, we're going to log out, and this is where we need to just reset our password earlier. So if you've not done that, go into settings and do it real quick. So let's go log out, go log back in, do mod, and then the password you set it to. Again, mine was test1234. Let me make sure I entered that right. All right, and now we are in admin and we got our second flag. Now pretty much most of the things we can do here are the same, except here on this home page, you notice we got this select feature. If we click it, we see we get this lottery feature. Now an interesting thing, I've had Kaido going on the back here and listening to the whole time. If we drop this down, we can see we get a post dashboard.php. If we take a look at it, you'll see here that it requested that lottery.php. So let's go back into intercept mode and go ahead and close that so we don't get a bunch of junk. And we'll go ahead and do that to reset the page. So that should reset it. Yep, just forward that. Come back here, select lottery. Yep, see it says lottery there. Let's see if we can access that. Let's see if we can access finance from the text file we found earlier. Yep, sure enough, there we go. So let's grab that password from earlier. I've got it here in my notes, if I don't scroll right past it, and enter it. Okay, looks like we can upload a file. Now, if you take a look, you'll see that all files are selected. So that means you can upload basically anything. For this, I've got a rev.php ready to go. This is the PHP reverse shell. If you've not come across it before, I will do my best to find the link to it online and put it in the comments or the description below. So that way you can go and grab a copy. Keep it on hand because the thing becomes very useful in a ton of rooms. For this, we'll click open and upload. Now we come back here and it wants us to give the password again. So we do that. You scroll down, you see the file was uploaded to upload/rev.php. So on mine, I set my listening port to 9001. And what we're going to do is go back to Kaido and we're going to set back into queue. And basically what we want to do is reuse this lottery feature like we did last time to access the finesse board. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to point it to that file we uploaded. So uploads, for me it's going to be rev.php forward. And if we come back over here in our terminal, you see we now have access to the machine. Now, real quick, whenever I land on a machine, first thing I like to do is see where I'm at in the root directory, ID to see who I am. And especially since I'm in the root directory, I want to list all including hidden files. And the file I hate to see the most right there, you can see, is the Docker environment file. So unless you've done a lot of Docker machines, you may not have an idea of what we can do here or where to go from here. I would highly recommend to go look up those boxes that focus on Docker, that are easy, the Docker walkthroughs, and go get some practice on them. And make a list of different vulnerabilities, different commands you run, stuff like that. It will help out a lot. Now, as for me, when I got here, tried to see if I could list the Docker containers, which is always a good first step. And sure enough, we can't. Because I have a list of a few things to do with Docker, there was one that I wanted to try to see if it worked. And that is going to be this command, docker run -v /:host --name. I'm going to call mine main system, and we're going to use the PHP vulnerable image, that's this one up here, the one we're currently in, and use the ampersand at the end, so that way this command, when it runs, it gets pushed back to the background so we can still interact with the terminal. Okay, we got a notification that it is started. So if we run our docker ps command again, we can see we have a new container and its name is main system. So what this has done is attempted to mount the host system, that's this slash here, to the /host directory inside this container. So like if we list the files where we're at right now, you can look up here, we do not have a host file listed here. But if we run this command, docker execute, and the name of the container we want to run, on this case main system, and then our command ls-al, first off you see that we are in most likely the web directory. So we've run that again until we want the root directory. This time you can see there is a folder called host. So if we try to list out that contents, make sure you capitalize the letters correctly if you use capital letters. You can see we've got another directory, a root directory in there. As you see, we don't have hosts this time. So let's see if we can list out root and see if there's anything in there. Just add /root on it. And sure enough, there is the flag.txt. So all you'll want to do, instead of using ls, you want to use cat and do host root flag.txt. And there you go, there's your root flag. Okay, so there's your walkthrough. We've got all three flags for this box. Again, this was a medium box, but I kind of feel like it could have been an easy, but I could also see how it's medium if you're not really familiar with how to look at network traffic from a site or going to a site and how to escape a Docker container. Again, if you've not done much of the walkthroughs and the easy rooms on Docker containers, I highly recommend you go and do those, because Docker environments are a huge thing on boxes right now, and try and hack them. So with that, hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please subscribe and leave a like down below. I really do appreciate it, and it does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.